even though my husband cannot produce, taking in somebody's egg doesn't mean that child belongs to my husband. It belongs to another man. And it will be that man and myself our child, not my husband. So I will not do it for any reason.
What I've heard about fertility, about men donating their sperm to the women, that was about 1 year ago. I was just reading a manuscript and I saw that. So quickly I just played my Bible. I just wanted to know that is this something going to help the Christian fraternity, or what comes in mind for somebody to do that?
I won't accept it, like to take a sperm from somebody, because what I read was that taking a sperm or something from somebody, you need to check if your genes match, because maybe I won't check to go for the sperm and I'll give birth to a child which that child won't be strong enough. So if your child is not strong enough, you always waste money taking the person to hospitals. So for me, I don't accept it.
Even though it is not my child, it won't be because I didn't produce that egg. It is only science that is trying to do all these things. When it comes to creation, it is not mine. That's the truth. And I wouldn't like to say this thing to make somebody feel bad. That's my personal view. It is not mine. I prefer adopting a child.
Well, for extra cash, I wouldn't. But to help humanity, I won't.
So for you, donating your sperm is not a problem. But the motive behind it is the problem.
I'll donate to help the cause of humanity, health-wise or scientifically. Some women or some married women, their husbands genuinely cannot, get them pregnant. So just to make them happy, just to make a woman happy, I think that it is only fair to help the cause of humanity if I donate for the happiness of another woman.
Okay, I can say for me, it's not a good way, because I can't know if the person is having a disease or a sickness. Yeah, so for me, I won't go for that risk. I won't risk.
It's not good because it goes against the nature of God, because the Bible speaks against all those things that is not good. So my belief and what the Bible tells me is what I'm saying, that it's not good for any woman being to do that.
You see, God has given us wisdom. It depends on everybody how the mindset and whatever they talk about it. Because things like this, it is not everybody that comes to this world that give birth. Okay, so far that God has given us the will to do. God has given us the will. So far that you do, it's like you are helping another person. Giving up my sperm is just helping another person maybe to conceive. Okay, Bible says that we should fill the earth. It depends on everybody's version and whatever he or she will talk about it. But I know that it's not against anything.
Welcome back to the studio. Interesting comments from a cross-section of the public on their thoughts on sperm donation. The sperm donation buzz is catching on. Even in the studio, some of the cameramen are asking, Chaliska Womu, shout outs to Branana. All of these things are going on. And so an article, during our research, an article that we read indicated that the global sperm bank market size was valued at over $4 million in 2019 and alone, and that this figure is expected to rise by a significant percentage in 2027. So now the question we are really asking is, what constitutes sperm donation? Who is a sperm donor? Who qualifies to be a sperm donor? And how much are both men and women interested in the service? And the whole phrase catching on social media. There's a lady, there's a woman who started this buzz. Her name is Abna Manuki Kame. So on Facebook, she posted, according to her, it was just a post, and it generated lots of buzz, and it's generated into a big conversation, a huge conversation now. And we are asking, is it for the money, humanity? Are people gullible? Do they know exactly what they are getting into? So she's going to be telling us how she started this campaign. I'm even going to ask her, is she an agent for a fertility clinic? But then again, we'll have a specialist, Dr. Paddy Aite. He's a gynecologist with the Elimas Health Center, and he will join us via phone during this conversation to give us the thoughts and concerns from that side. And so, Abuna Manuki Kame.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
What's your real name? What's your real name?
Abuna Majes.
Are you sure that's your real name?
Oh, you want me to add the other one?
Yeah.
I'm Abuna Majes Gatugbe.
That's what we want. And so, where did the Manuki Kame? Where did you get it from?
Okay, so it started, I think, 2015, 2016. I used to talk about controversial topics, and I'll usually add Media Manu Kikami, and then it got stuck, yes.
Okay, and so that's it. Okay, so where's your background from? Are you a journalist? Are you a blogger? How did you end up on Facebook with such a huge following and people listening to your opinions?
Okay, well, I started radio in Cape Coast.
Okay.
That was in the early 2000s before I came to Accra.
Okay.
So I did radio for a lot of years before I stopped. And then I realized that going online, being digital, it helps you reach out to far more people than, radio as at that time. Now, traditional media is catching up, but then a lot of us realize that online would help us reach people further than traditional media was doing. And that's how I was able to start. I actually started by following another person, a brother of mine. And sometimes he'll post certain stories and I'll actually go and comment and then ask, is this real? So some of the stories would touch me. And then sometimes too, I was going through a period of depression. So some of the thoughts that occurred to me, I'll ask them in the form of a quick question. And people would come and then comment. Then some started DMing me that, Abana, I want to, give a reaction to the question that you asked, but then I want to go anonymous. So then I'll share for them. And that is how I started, by sharing anonymously for people.
Okay, dokes. And so, for your bio says you're a relationship publicist.
Yes.
Do you have any training in being a relationship expert? How did you come by this title?
But I can concern until
it's a Facebook title.
Just Facebook title. Yes.
Right. Now let's come to the reason why we are sitting here, and you've caused such a buzz everywhere. Are you an agent for any of these fertility clinics? Are you sure? Won't you come up later that you're an agent for any fertility clinic?
Oh, no fertility clinic can claim that I'm their agent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
the conversation started because, and someone even touched on it. A lady who's been married for about 7 years. We're talking about it, and then I mentioned IVF. So she was talking about the fact that being a Christian, it is God that provides the child, etc., and all that. And I told her that, listen, this is what is available, and that there are people who will be willing to donate their sperms, to get a surrogate. That is, if she cannot carry the child to full term. And so we're talking about it, and then I decided that, okay, why don't I post this tweet and then find out if there are guys who are interested. It was more of a survey than an actual intention. Seriously, my first thought was, let me find out if there are some guys who are interested. And to the extent that I even created a Google form that was on Tuesday, Monday. And as of this morning, when I checked, I had like about 5,000 responses. So now I don't even know what to do.
Wow.
Yes.
And what are some of the responses you've gotten? What are some of the comments you've gotten after you put the tweet out?
Everybody's asking where's the fertility clinic? They want to go and donate.
What answers are you giving them?
I'm telling them to calm down.
Because you didn't know anything and you went to go and speak about it.
Oh, actually, the thing is that I had already spoken to a fertility clinic. And that was basically because I wanted to to get a lot of information. It is something that I have been doing since last year. IVF, surrogacy, sperm donors, egg donors, they are something that I'm very, very passionate about, because I'm looking at the fact that there are so many people who want kids. I have a kid, but then someone out there cannot easily have a kid like I was able to. So how then do we help that person? Some people will come out, and then I even heard someone mention in the Vox Pop about the fact that it's against Christianity and all that. But then please, my dear Lord Jesus Christ came through artificial insemination. Please, let us be very, very clear about that. There was no, okay, it was artificial insemination. That was how we got our Messiah. So don't come and then say that it's against God's way. No, let us be clear here. You understand? There was no way God could have impregnated Mary. There is no way some woman can get pregnant. So there has to be an intervention. So just as there was an intervention for Christ, it is the same way there are, you are laughing, so it's making me laugh. It's the same way there are interventions for other women. That's how it is.
Okay. And so what's the price range? 2,500K. Somebody said this morning that for light-skinned and mixed race is $3,000. You have done your research. You've been researching since last year. Yeah. What's the price range?
Okay. First of all, I started this, but then please let me state this clearly. You are not paid. You are not selling your sperms. You are not selling your sperms. It's just that the fertility clinic would like to say that, okay, for the fact that you have spent your time, you have spent resources coming in and out of the fertility clinic until you start donating, let me give you something small as TNT.
So that's a token.
So it's basically a token. You understand?
So people are donating their sperms for free?
Yeah, of course. If you decide not to take the money, they don't mind. You understand? And then also the psyche behind it. I've had a lot of people come, Abana, I owe rent. Abana, I need the money to pay my fees. Abana, I need this, that. You would actually go to the clinic. They'll ask you questions as to why you want to donate. As soon as you mention that, you might be worked out, because your thoughts behind the whole thing is actually wrong. You understand? It is different if, I want to help someone to get a child because it is something that I believe in. That one is different from being so desperate for money. That's why you want to do it.
Okay, and what's happening to the female side too? During your research, what did you find out?
Okay, so with the females, a lot of religiousness is around it. So there are a lot of ladies that actually have reached out to me that it's something that they've always wanted to do, but then have wondered as to if it is wrong morally to do it. So I've had to give them a little bit of education. Yesterday I had a 15-minute talk just with one lady and the mother, because she was interested in doing it, but then the mother was against it. So I had to now talk to her to let them, the two of them, understand how important it is, and of course to let her think about it, because at the end of the day, it is her choice.
Okay, Manoke Kame, during your research, can you walk us through what you found out? And as soon as you enter the clinic and you're qualified to donate your sperm, what's the process?
Okay. Well, first of all, you can't be qualified until you have run through several checks. For example, you have to first see a doctor. The gynae would ask you some questions, because he would want to be sure as to your perception, why you want to do it, and then all that. Then there are so many benchmarks that you would have to fit, depending on what they are actually looking for. For example, if it has to do with your physique, just as you mentioned about the fair people, there are some couples, because of how they are, they would prefer to have kit that fits. So they want someone who's fair, they want someone who's dark, they want someone who's tall,
Right.
someone who is slim and all that. So they would have to check your physique, then also psychologically how prepared you are.
Okay.
The psychological aspect has to do with the fact that I don't know if I can mention the word, but it's because you'll be using your hand to basically do everything. So you have to be aware that you might get addicted to it. So they would first of all have to find out if it is something that you've already done.
When you say done, what do you mean? Will they have
You'll
to
be using your hand.
You would have to masturbate.
Yes. Oh, okay, I can use the word. Thank you.
It's an English word, it's in the dictionary.
Okay, so you have to masturbate.
Yes.
If it's something that you're already doing, then you might end up getting, like, to become worse. Okay, if it's something that you're already doing on your own, and now you're doing it for money, then that means that the matter is going to pasca. So they would actually prefer someone who would basically want to just do it maybe once or twice as needed, and then that is it. You understand? The potential of it becoming an addiction is something that is a bit worrying.
Okay, so is there like a lookbook where you, if for instance I'm a client and I want a child, is there a lookbook where I can go and then, so I look and then look at the features that sort of fit me? So are these people going to be photographed and put like pictures put in the book? How does?
Okay, well, there are standards, okay,
Right.
as to all the fertility clinics and then what they are looking for, and then how they go about it. You understand? So, basically, in particular, of course, they would. Some, and I think most of them actually, will take the pictures because they need the physique. They need the size, as in your height, your weight, etc. So they will do all of these.
Okay.
You understand? They will do all of these. And another thing too is that some people too are not aware of certain illnesses or diseases that they might have.
Okay.
So they run through the test only for you to realize that you might have HIV, you might have hepatitis, etc. So it was doing the test that I got to realize that you have that.
So such a person will be ruled out automatically.
Of course, automatically. So one lady during the Vox Pop said that she's not sure as to whether the person might have diseases on. All of these are checked.
Okay. So
all of them.
All of these are checked.
Yes.
Now you qualify to be a sperm donor. What next?
Okay, so when you are qualified, then the hospital will call you as and when they need you.
Okay.
Yes. So if you fit into what a couple is looking for immediately, you could be called immediately after. But then if not, then you might probably wait a month, even a year until they need you.
Okay.
So when they need you, then they would probably schedule with you as in how often you should go.
Amazing, amazing stuff, and it's pretty mind-boggling. In all of these, do you get comments since you started this rouse? Do you get comments? Do people come at you throwing the religious cue?
Oh yeah, they do. They do.
What are some of the comments? What are some of the comments, the surprising comments you've had?
I'm promoting masturbation. Even just now, I read something like that I'm promoting masturbation.
But are you not?
Was it?
Are you not?
I am not.
No?
No.
How do they get the sperms to the donors? What do they do?
Okay, let me ask you this. All right. Now, if you do an advert holding an energy drink, okay, that means that you are doing what you're advertising it. But are you going to forcefully force people to take it? No. They would have to make that choice. So I am advocating for surrogacy. I'm advocating for sperm donors, egg donors, etc. Now, it is your choice in how you understand it. Are you okay with it? Then you decide to do it. But then if not, you come and then you attack me that I'm promoting masturbation. How? I am not. What I'm advocating is for people, because what I've been made to understand is that sperm donors actually, as in quality sperms, there are not so much in the system. Fertility clinics are not getting quality sperms. So they would run through all the necessary checks and then realize that it is not, that this person cannot give us exactly what we are looking for. That is where we've gotten to. So as many people as can be tested, that means that there could find as many people that have quality sperm so that couples who need it would also get it.
Okay, and how often during your research, how often do people walking, what's usually the age bracket of men or the males that are walking?
So for example, with men, it's actually between 18 to 40 years.
Okay.
But then it depends on the particular fertility clinic. Some would want, let's say, between 21 to 28, between 20 to 30. It depends on what exactly they are looking for.
Okay.
They are very, very particular on whether the man has given birth before. The reason that I was told was because of some of the medications. So they would prefer someone who hasn't given birth before.
You want a virgin sperm?
Basically.
Wow.
Well, it's not exactly virgin because it has been entering people, but at least Bibisa.
Okay, so after this person has gone into the room and masturbated, how do they store it? Does a person put it in a condom, in a bottle, in a glass? How often?
Okay.
Bottles?
They actually have it's a sterilized container.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sterilized container that they masturbate into.
Wow. So do you get people asking if an 18-year, so we're doing research yesterday, I was speaking to somebody and he said, so Val, an 18-year-old boy in these times of economic strife and all that's happening, social media pressure and everything, hears about this, doesn't know the repercussions.
I've had 18-year-olds reaching out to me, 18, 19.
Okay.
I've had 17-year-olds.
Has somebody ever asked you that in future, how many of my kids will be roaming the world?
Yeah, I've been asked that question.
When you did your research, did you ask the medical personnel this? Did you ask them this? And what did they say?
Okay. Remember what I mentioned about quality sperm?
Right.
You could go there and then none of your sperms could be used. So it could even get to it could be that it is either 0 or maybe 1 or 2 or 3. Now, in the US right now, what we've realized is that the children can actually demand to meet their sperm donor. That's in US. Here in Ghana, we do not have, I have checked and there is no legal framework actually, that supports this, you understand? All that I know is that the donors are anonymous till forever.
And so it's just free production?
It's not exactly free.
It's not exactly free. You get some dividend.
Yeah.
What's the highest someone has been given a token? What's the highest token someone has been given?
So far, as I've heard, is around $3,500. But then that one wasn't from a clinic. That one was from a couple.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how the sperm donations are done. It is people do walk in. There are agents that take clients there.
Okay.
And then there are also couples that look for sperm donors. So for example, yesterday, a lady made me tweet on her behalf that she's looking for a sperm donor. So she gave, the criteria as to who she was looking, for. And then some guys got into contact with me. Now she will negotiate the price with them. So you could get someone, depending on exactly what she's looking for, demand for $5,000, $4,000.
Wow.
It is up to her to pay.
This is serious stuff. Is there any legal framework binding this whole thing? We don't have a lot of time. I mean, we'll have this conversation again with a specialist from a fertility clinic and somebody who has actually a sperm donor. We'll have all of these people. But in the meantime, run us through, is there a legal framework surrounding all of this? Or people are just...
So far as I've checked...
doing business?
Not really. Of course, the fertility clinics are bound by the organizations that they fall under. But then when it comes to this, not really.
Okay. Shelley, we are looking forward to more Manuki Kami stuff and more filler from you. How do we find you on social media, please? Okay,
so my page is on Facebook, Abena Manuki Kami, and then on Single Me, and then Abena Majis everywhere.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for coming. So we've been spending time with the famous Manuki Kami, Ajwak Manuki Kami. She's on social media. There's a craze going on everywhere. People wanting to donate their sperm for $2,500 or $3,000.